It actually never gets easier to say goodbye. I am Heather Ann with Heather Ann in Progress, and I am talking today about what I have learned in my almost 7 years of fostering cats. As you could probably expect, there will very likely be a lot of cats in the background of this video, as in most of my videos. We have one of our foster cats, Kenga, is giving us a soundtrack of her scratching on the scratching post right behind my camera right now. Thank you, Kenga. She is a very adorable blue tabby. If anyone wants to adopt her, that would be awesome. There's a misconception with fostering that, well, I think there's a misconception both ways with fostering. Either that it is impossible to say goodbye each time one of your foster cats gets adopted, or that it's really easy to say goodbye every time your foster cat gets adopted. And it's never easy. We grow attached to all of them no matter how long or short of a time that they are with us. But it's always doable because we know that they are going to a home where they are going to get all of the love and attention that they deserve. So I've been fostering cats for almost 7 years. We started in September of 2019. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what fostering is like day to day. That does vary depending on the age of the kitties. And then I'll get into some of the lessons I learned. So starting out with the youngest kittens of bottle babies, we do not foster bottle babies. I have a myriad of reasons why I don't, but we do foster them post-bottle. This is a tanager. He was a bottle baby in our rescue, and another foster family bottle fed him. He was found by himself alone when he was about 10 days old. As soon as they could eat solid food, that's about when we like to take them. And so they're a little more high maintenance at this age. They sleep in a crate overnight. When they first come here, the room where I'm sitting right now is our game room, but is also the room that we block off for the baby fosters. And so when they first come and they're still getting the lay of being able to be kind of loose in an area, they just have this one room to run around in, and then they can't get into too much trouble. Then once they've had the opportunity to sniff the rest of the cats through the gates that block off this room, so they've had that adjustment period with the rest of the cats in the house. And also, we trust that if we want to catch them, we can catch them, and they're not going to try to run or hide from us. Then they can run around the rest of the house. And at this age, they eat wet food about 4 times a day, so they're a little higher maintenance. They aren't that much more difficult than taking care of any other cat, other than they want to have playtime. But if you have 2 of them, that's a little easier because they play with each other. And then our bigger guys, like Kenga, who I showed you the little video of, they're just like having a regular cat. They don't take any more time than our own pets do. They need to get their wet food twice a day, their litter boxes scooped once a day, play with them. But day to day, the other cats, it's not that much different than just having a pet cat. One of the advantages to foster care is that we really know the personalities of the cats. It's hard to know the personality of cats in a shelter setting. Shelters provide a vital resource for our communities, but in terms of really being, especially cats, because they get so stressed out in a shelter setting, really being able to identify their personalities, what they're like in a home, is very difficult to do in a shelter setting. Where when they're living in a foster home, we know what they're like in a home. In our foster home, we teach them not to jump on the counter. We figure if their future owner wants to let them jump on the counter, they can make that change, but we're gonna start with, you're not allowed on the counter. They learn what the doorbell sounds like. We have a dog, so they learn what it's like to be around dogs. We invite the neighbor kids over to play with them so that they get used to strangers and they aren't just, friendly with us. They know what the doorbell, the vacuum, the ice machine, they know what the fork against the plate in the kitchen means. And so they sort of learn the lay of the land of living in a home. So when it comes time for us to find a home for them, we know, well, this cat's kind of shy and it doesn't like loud noises. So maybe the house with a bunch of kids or other loud noises is not going to be a good fit for them. Or this cat who is very chill about everything. We know that loud noises don't bother him, and he is in the middle of everything all of the time. He is going to be good in just about any home. By the time you see this video, he will probably already be adopted because he's got somebody coming to meet him tomorrow who has already met him. So Tanager will not be available, but we have plenty of other kitties if you're in the Kansas City metro area. And so we get to know what their personalities are like. And then as a foster family, our job is to be taking pictures of them, to be relaying information about them back to the rescue so that when they do any social media updates and they update their website with information about the cat. So we want to be in communication with them, letting them know about the personality of our kitties so that they can, as they get adoption applications, find the best fit for each cat. I have no idea how many cats we have fostered at this point. Probably at least 50 in 7 years. Some years we'll get a litter and we might have 2 or 3 litters and they get adopted almost immediately. Kittens do get adopted a lot faster than adult cats. And then sometimes we have adult cats who stay with us for a while. So a little bit of what to expect in the rest of this video. I'm not telling you how to foster. We actually do have a Fostering 101 video with Moggy's Refuge that I will link down in the description of this video if you are interested in fostering for your local animal shelter or rescue organization. That would be a good starting place for sort of the full scallywag on how to foster. Mostly I'm going to be talking about some of the lessons that I have learned in my almost 7 years of fostering. So foster failure is a feature, not a bug. So we certainly never set out to do foster failure. If you don't know what a foster fail is, foster fail is when you adopt one of the cats you are fostering. And so you fail at fostering because you adopt them and keep them. 2 of our pets are foster fails. Jack, who is my daughter's black and white cat, was our first foster fail. For whatever magical reason, when he walked in the door, he and our daughter bonded nearly instantaneously. Within probably 24 hours of him arriving, Risa started asking to adopt him. And we were like, no, the whole point of fostering is that we foster, we're not adopting. No. And he was not with us very long, maybe a couple weeks. And it just became increasingly clear that the 2 of them were very bonded to one another. And so we made the decision for our first foster fail that we were going to adopt Jack. And so by the next year, we had a litter of 3 kittens who were born to a feral mom named Pinata. They were Jolly Rancher, Pixie Sticks, and Gummy Bear. And Pixie Sticks got adopted right away. Jolly Rancher got adopted by my best friend. His name is now Leo. And nobody wanted Gummy Bear. Now, Gummy Bear was a very goofy looking child. His eyes were a little crooked, and he was this very long, gangly, blue tabby. And for whatever reason, just nobody was ever interested in him. And at the time, we were changing rescue organizations, and the rescue organization where we were fostering was doing away with their cats program entirely. They were only going to do dogs. So we decided to adopt him. Now, to be clear, long before all of that happened, Jack had adopted Gummy Bear, legitimately. Jack loved Gummy Bear and just was immediately bonded to him the moment that he walked in the door. Risa foster failed Jack, and Jack foster failed Gummy Bear. Lesson number 2, every cat teaches you something different about fear and trust. We have had the gamut of cat friendliness in our work. Now, because the rescue that we work with specializes in moms and babies, that means that a lot of the moms and babies are feral when we get them. And most kittens, if they're caught trapped before 3 or 4 months of age, they're going to rehabilitate from being feral and they're going to be very friendly as an adult. But it takes a little time to get them over being spicy. This little guy, even though he was found as an orphan, he was so young and then he was bottle fed. He doesn't really remember what it was like to be cold and hungry and in fear out on the streets. So he is extremely friendly. We've also had mini cats over the years that it took us a long time to earn their trust, including Kanga's brother, Owl. He was extremely shy. He wouldn't run from us, but he did not lean into pets. He did not understand attention and affection. And it took a while, but man, when that switch flipped, he is one of the most affectionate, sweet, loving cats on the planet. And so every one of the little guys that we've had teaches us some level of, through time and patience and attention and care and love, you can earn trust and you can mitigate fear. Cats are their own people, as it were, and some of them are still going to be fearful. The goodbye doesn't get easier, it just gets familiar. So it's always hard. Even a little guy like Tanager here, who is not even going to be with us very long, it's always hard to say goodbye to them because we love them and we have committed a fair amount of our life to taking care of them in the time that they're here. But knowing that they are the best prepared that they can be to transition seamlessly and smoothly into their forever homes is so meaningful. And so even though it is hard and it doesn't get easier, it's always very bittersweet. Yes, we're sad, but letting them go means that we're going to have space to now help another kitty. And letting them go means that they've gone on to their loving forever, which is great for them. Another lesson I learned: your house will never be free of cat hair again. And that's okay. Now, our house, we do an actually pretty good job of it because we have solid surface floors, and so we dust mop all the time, and we've got a really good filter on our furnace that we keep clean all of the time. But yeah, there's no escaping the cat hair when you foster. I will say at least the babies don't shed as much as adult cats, so that's helpful. But it just means that your house is full of love if it is full of a little cat glitter. And one of the hard parts about fostering is that you are not going to be able to save them all. We have been very blessed that we've only lost a couple of our fosters over the years. One, at a very young age, she was found with her brothers, who are still living in an adopted home and doing great. She was a lot smaller than the boys. Kittens are remarkably fragile, especially the little tiny kittens. They were maybe 3 weeks old when they were found. We had another little guy who had congestive heart failure, and as he grew, it became clear that his growth was outpacing his heart's ability to function, and so we kept him and his brother as a companion as long as he was still functioning okay, and so we did lose him, and that is super not easy, but at least we were able to give them warmth and comfort and love in the time that we had them, and that means so much. So many kittens in the US are born outside and don't even make it to a year of age. They are subject to disease, predators, cars, humans who are just jerks. And even if they didn't have a very long life, at least knowing that we gave them warmth and love for the little bit of life they had means so much. And one of the most important lessons that I have learned in fostering is that what is just one of many foster cats for me is somebody else's whole world. I'm fostering and taking care of a cat that is going to be somebody's best friend for the next decade or more. And that is super special and meaningful. And one of the things that keeps me going, even on the days when it's really hard. Even this week, we've had to make decisions over whether or not we were going to be able to help a cat. And knowing that the ones that we do help, we are raising somebody's best friend, that makes it easier to say goodbye and makes it easier to keep going on the days that are really hard. Fostering has been a remarkable experience for my entire family. How we started fostering, it was when my daughter was 12. No, she would have had to have been 11. She put together an entire PowerPoint presentation and called the family to a meeting so that she could discuss us fostering kittens. It's been just a wonderful experience. You get to play with kittens all the time, and then as soon as these little guys get adopted, we just go get more. Unfortunately, in today's world, there are always more kittens. We have to say no to a dozen requests for intakes of kittens a day, and I'm not exaggerating this time of year. In places where it has nice weather all year round, it's worse. We at least have a kitten season here in Kansas City because we do have winters, but in Florida, California, Arizona, places like that, there is no kitten season. It is all year long. And so we have a never-ending supply of little tiny baby kittens to play with. And it's a little harder when you have a cat that's gotten a little older, so it takes longer to get them adopted, but they do eventually get adopted. So I really want to encourage everyone to give fostering a go, even if it's not kittens, even if puppies are your thing, though puppies are a lot of work. But even if you can't foster, there are many ways to get engaged with your local rescue organizations. Right now, we're looking for a volunteer who can phone the references on adoption applications, because that's one of those things that's just has to be done. And when you're already up to your eyeballs in the actual feed and caring of all of the kittens and trapping, our organization does TNR trapping, trap, neuter, return with feral cats. It's hard to then take the time to actually run all of the adoption references. If you're in the Kansas City area, I welcome you to check out Moggy's Refuge. That is the organization that we work with, Moggy''S. Moggy is a British term for a street cat, so it's like a mutt cat, and we are entirely foster based, so all of our kitties are in foster homes. We have, like I said, lots of volunteer things that don't always have anything to do with fostering, if fostering is not something that you can do right now, though why would you not want to? Is this not the most adorable thing ever? So tell me in the comments, have you ever fostered anything? Cat, dog, guinea pig, bird? I don't think plants count, but let me know in the comments if you've ever fostered and what are some of the lessons you learned as a foster parent. Again, I am Heather Ann with Heather Ann in Progress. Would love for you to hit that subscribe button so you can follow along as I navigate midlife and share my in progress. And remember, small consistent actions add up to big changes. Thanks.